OC87 Recovery Diaries. Stories of mental health, empowerment, and change. Essays, films, and gatherings that create a community of hope, courage, and healing. A safe space to connect on the deepest levels of humanity. Explore stories of hope.
We have conversations every once in a while, so I can make sure that we're on the same page, make sure there's nothing that's confusing or something like that. So I tell both of them, everybody has some type of disability, And Campbell said to me one day, he said, "So what's your disability, Dad?" And I said, "Well, my disability is I can't access the part of my brain that allows you to do your sculptures." I said, "So who's disabled, me or you?" And he looked at me, he smiled, and that made him feel good. It's been a really tough journey. It didn't all happen really quick. Young Campbell was violent, very disobedient, didn't really speak too much. When he did say anything, it would be a profanity. I thought he was a kid that needed discipline, so he and I went at it constantly. He was trying to say something, but we weren't listening to him. In the 80s, early 90s, there was no diagnosis. I mean, autism is kind of like a word people were exploring, and there was no help. Nobody knew what to do with it. They recommended electroshock therapy, but I backed out of it.
What are y'all doing? I'm just curious.
We're doing a film on this sculptor.
Who made it?
He did. He's super
you made
talented.
it? Out of what?
Cardboard. It takes about 4 months.
Oh, he made the bridge too?
Mm-hmm.
How long did it take you to make the bridge?
About 3 months.
Hey, that's crazy. And he did it all by hand, by himself, from scratch?
Yep.
And I figured that there had to be another way. So, in order to really help him, I had to learn to listen with my eyes. And I didn't know how to do that before. I uncrumpled the papers, and it was drawings of this superhero that he called Survivor. And I asked him why he put those papers in the event. He said that people wouldn't understand. And I said, okay, now I've got you. I know who you believe you are. I know these things about you. So what I did was I created stories about the character. We started to bond with this. It moved more to not me just telling the stories, but him illustrating what I was telling. So we started to draw and tell stories until we actually had the makings of a book, and we published our first book.
This is the character that Campbell drew when I found in the vents.
One day we were talking, and he said, "Am I autistic?" What I was trying to teach him is kind of, you have these superhuman abilities. I can't tell him he's autistic and then tell him he has superhuman abilities. I said, no. I said, you're not autistic. I said, you're an Autisarian. I said, this is what we'll do. I said, get a piece of paper. I said, write autism on it. Now put it in the trash. She walked to the stove. He said, Dad, can we burn it? All right, you want to burn it? So we put it in the bowl and we burned it. So after that, that's when he started really excelling in the sculptures. After he had dropped that load.
The Autisarian with a special ability, they become superheroes. They learn how to use their technique. My special ability I become a painter.
He was into the drawing the characters and oil painting. He has, I believe, over 500 oil paintings and drawings. And that's where he was at in the beginning, but we kind of ran out of money for his canvas. So he just started grabbing boxes when we get packages in, and he started just building stuff.
I was self-taught without no experimental training. Philadelphia Museum of Art. That's my best architect.
What excites me is that transformation of two-dimensional photographic image to these incredible sculptures in the exactitude of scale and proportion, but the incredible Campbell, touch, the human touch in these works. And that's incredibly inspiring. They're not pure architectural models. There's a lot of stuff going on in these with the surfaces, with the painting, with how he's processing materials and creating these sort of objects out of, found materials or, cheaply acquired materials. Amazing across the board.
My best works, I like to listen to music and work at the same time. It gives me a lot of patience to focus on the detail and concentrate with the look. I feel amazed by myself. I felt excited.
I mean, look, for an emerging contemporary artist, this is like almost as good as it gets from right out of the gate. He's already in one museum collection, and he literally just had his debut show in January, and a museum bought a work out of that exhibition. So yeah, he's doing really well.
A law they knew nothing about. To reverse the damage, an alien civilization known as the Autisarians used a process called DNA transfer to send its greatest minds to Earth.
His brother's name is Kante. He creates videos about the characters. So his gift is that he has a fantastic memory. He can memorize code. We use the coding for him to create the videos. I use what I learned from Campbell to help him.
I'm good with computers and stuff. So my dad is good with computers too.
I got a degree in coding to help Kante.
And I make the objects and games and stuff, and he helps me out with it. We keep working and we do our best.
I'll have a section in the house. This section is Campbell's studio. The next section over there is Kante's studio. I kind of like it, I might have to find a little space in the corner somewhere, but that's okay. That's all right. I'm okay with that.
To never give up. Autism isn't a disorder. It's not a disability. The only disability that you have is believing you have one. And once you get past the point of believing you have a disability, you can do anything, And that's just not for autism. It's anyone.
It's the creativity from both of them. I just love watching them. I'm kind of just in the background pushing. I don't like to get in front of them. I just want to stay behind them and guide them because, I'm not going to be around forever. And if I'm in front of them, they can't really walk on their own. And teaching them to be men it's my duty as a dad. And I think it's my honor as a human being to have been blessed with 2 kids with such amazing abilities.
Buddy, are you a nature kind of guy?
No, I am not.
So what are you doing here in Muir Woods?
Because you got me here, Glenn. You wanted to take this scenic shot. I didn't want to come to Muir Woods, Glenn. I'm not that type of person. So we're trekking up Muir Woods. I'm getting a heart attack. Right before this shot, folks, I want to tell you something. I was very social for the whole day, and then I went into my OC87 mode where I don't talk and I become asocial, and I noticed I started disconnecting from everybody and everybody like pulling away from me and everything. So I just sort of a treatment that my Asperger's therapist taught me. I can't really say it right now because I'm with the crew and it'll ruin the inner relationship with the crew, but I'll tell you on a video diary at a later time. We'll cut to that video diary right now. Social fake is a coping strategy I use when I'm in a bad mood, when I'm angry, when I'm irritable, when I'm tired, because I don't really like to talk to people when I'm in those moods. I learned social fake from my Asperger's therapist, and I used it in Muir Woods because I was getting very tired at that time of the shoot. It was about 5 o'clock, and we had been flying all morning, and I knew I had to go out at night, and I just about lost it. And I didn't want to lose it with the crew and start getting angry at them, so I started to employ social fake. And that's where I go with the flow and keep the conversation moving at a good pace, at an appropriate pace. I make eye contact with people when it's appropriate. And it's a way to just stay connected even when you don't want to stay connected. The reason I didn't want to talk about this in Muir Woods is because I felt the crew would see me as a phony, that they would doubt I was being sincere with them, that they would reject me. That's why I didn't want to do it in Muir Woods.
Stand by. And Meg, can you just move that? There we go, perfect. All right, type away, read. And roll for record. Still speaking. Push it in a little bit towards the windows, Meg. There we go. And slate it. And go to read. Scene 1, Act 1.
Well, it started actually, I think, since probably before I could talk, really, since I've always been kind of interested in watching movies on the TV and looking at kind of the movie pages that my mom and dad would have around the house. So I'd always be excited to see the movies that come in the papers, and I would even tell even my preschool how excited I was for it, and they became even interested in seeing the movies I was looking at the paper, and I brought one in once. In the same way that, like, in Rain Man, Dustin Hoffman's character is really good at math, or being there, Peter Sellers' character is really good at planning, so I assumed that kind of maybe movies was the big thing for me. The name of my screenplay is Hollywood's Aspergian Mind. It's about someone with autism who is a novice screenwriter whose name is Ryan Cohen. His film professor introduces him to this Hollywood producer. Ryan refuses to sign the contract from the producer. His name is Russell Allen, and so then after Ryan leaves the limo, Allen takes the script for himself, and Ryan discovers that Allen plans to turn the script into a sitcom TV show, and so that leads Ryan and his friends to go to Los Angeles to figure out how they can stop Allen.
Hollywood's Aspergian Mind, Scene 1. Exterior, outside of AFL bench, day. Allen's limousine comes near the bench and slows down and stops to see Ryan.
Are you that Cohen kid that Miles Linden's speaking so highly of?
Yep, and you must be the guy who's part of one of my most interested industries.
Is that even a real phrase? Interested industry?
Well, sometimes I just like to come up with certain phrases. So anyway, are you gonna let me into your car?
Come on in. You sound just like the kid that Miles was talking about. So it's Ray.
There's a certain, I think, semi kind of autobiography to the story. In many ways, the character is a little bit inspired by myself, but it has a little bit of a fantasy element.
Movies lately?
Yeah, just last night I watched the movie The Station Agent.
Doesn't that movie have that special dude?
I think he's really talented.
Yeah, he's one of a kind.
I've kind of often, though, have thought of this script as being a little bit like the works of kind of Charlie Kaufman, who also kind of combined, I think, certain elements of semi-autobiographical, particularly in his movie adaptation, with some kind of fantastical element to it.
Sometimes comedians do what they can to make people laugh, even if it means pissing off women, gays, special people, fat people.
Okay, I'm sorry if you feel I was judging you. I do think that maybe other people who don't have autism may kind of pick up maybe a little bit more verbal cues, if that's right, but I think I really see myself as somebody who has tried hard to understand what people are like, and so I kind of feel like that is one area where even my autism has helped me.
Ryan, what the heck were you doing in there?
What did I do?
You just blew your chance to prove you can handle a meeting with Alan.
Are you saying you guys do not want me to talk like a screenwriter?
That's what you were trying to do? Ryan, you need to interact on a more individual level.
Yeah. Well, I've had enough of trying to interact with people on an individual level, Brianna.
Ryan is seen walking off.
Since I'm always trying harder in some ways to understand characters and what they're like, and that always gives me a more vivid sense on how I can develop my own characters.
This is about telling people who you really are.
Brianna, I don't have to tell everyone about my autism. I don't care what you and Dr. Franklin say.
Well, you do to succeed in show business.
Let me be the judge of that. I mean, maybe it's not true of all writers, but I think that a lot of them do kind of put a little bit of themselves into it, and I do think certainly having autism is an interesting part of who I am.
Alan should be stopped and be taught a serious lesson for all the people he has hurt. I don't know how to help you now that I am no longer a reporter.
Well, is there any chance we can get in touch with any of your contacts in Hollywood? Does Drew Barrymore still show any possibility at helping us?
Ryan, getting help from celebrities hardly comes once in a lifetime for college students. Try not to think about what happened before, and let's come up with a better plan.
Brianna, don't give up so easily. I just remember...
A lot of the times, it seems like the focus has been on this one particular character, and sometimes, like in the movie, being there, which many people do think Peter Sellers' character had autism, or in movies like Punch Drunk Love, there was some suggestion, I feel like Adam Sandler's character might have had autism, but I would like to see a script that focuses on multiple different types of autism people in the same way that the movie Crash focused on multiple different types of people who are racist.
So I had one other question. Reed, I'm curious, what exactly are you trying, what is the message you are trying to communicate about people with autism through this project? What do you want people to take away from this?
Well, having autism is kind of a part of it, Ryan's quirk, but it basically it isn't made, I think, as too big a deal as seeing him as a super weird person, but there are kind of weird things basically about, let's say, all the characters in screenplay, and I think that can be true of all the people in life. So it's interesting to kind of see what all these kind of different characters are like, and to see what is able to make them unique, as well as what makes Ryan unique.
The three friends run quickly as the blue and yellow Dash bus arrived. They get on it and head to Flower Films.
My name is Reed Smith, and I am a screenwriter.
life, I've wanted to be involved with horses. I actually was in school to be a riding instructor and a horse trainer. But due to my mental illness, I had to put that aside. I was an antisocial child and very withdrawn. Just didn't want to do anything with anybody else. I went into high school and then college, and that was another stress point because nobody thought I'd be able to make it through high school, let alone make it into college. I didn't understand why I was different, why people were picking on me. Without the horse, I don't think I would have survived going through school. It was just a very important stage in my life to start riding. Being with the horse helps with my bipolar and Asperger's because I learned to use body language of the horse. Good girl. And it's a great method to learn social skills. How's my baby? I have to be connected with her, and I have to turn off all the emotions that are within me. It helps to control my anger, my frustration, my anxiety, because when I'm on a horse, my anxiety level drops. My brain can shut off from the whole world around me, and I can just tune into the horse. That helps me to recover in the world around me. My mom and dad, when I was a child, it was very difficult for them to understand my mental illness. My family treated me like my little sister because I was the oldest. I was expected to be like anybody else. My mom was told by her friend one day when we were going through the difficulty of figuring out if they wanted to put me on medication. She says to her, "Sherry, if Stephanie had diabetes, would you not put her on insulin?" That was the beginning of the acceptance for my parents. And I believe that I can recover a lot faster than I would have had my family not been there and taught me the importance of being a person first, not let the illness get in the way. I've been working with NAMI for over 4 years now. I've been working as an office assistant and a little bit of IT work. NAMI has been a godsend for me. The people there are very understanding of my mental illness, of course, because it's a family-oriented organization. We just recently had our walk, our big fundraiser for the year. We had about 2,000 people come to the walk. This year I was actually a part of the committee, doing the publicity of the walk. I need to set these up, the radios, make sure they all work. It got a little difficult. Faxing is different because people were faxing in like days before because they're supposed to have 3 different tables here. For me, working and recovery go hand in hand. All you have to do is hold this button down. It works as long as somebody's doing the table.
Until there's a cure, there's NAMI, okay? Thanks very much.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, let's give them a big hand.
With work, I get different inputs from different people and I can learn how to handle things. Being an interim voice presenter with NAMI has made me more assertive because I go out there and say, I'm in recovery. I can do this, and so can you. My acceptance for my mental illness came when I was in the hospital and I realized I need to be better for myself to help myself, my family. I've had difficult days, but pushing through them is really important. I want to push myself to get out there and do more. My hopes and dreams for the future for myself are to finally be out of the house on my own and hopefully be married. I hope that the stigma of mental illness is busted. Through pushing through what I have has made me feel really, really good, and I can do whatever I think I can do. I just have to go and grab the bull by the horns and do it.